Hi, my name is Borys, and in this video I'm going to show you the top 5 underrated Ableton Live effects. Some of these are quite new, some of these are a few years old, but all of these are incredibly powerful and very often overlooked. Before we get into the video, if you like what we are doing on this channel, make sure to subscribe. We've got more content about Ableton coming up, and if you'd like to learn Live 12 with all the foundations of music production, check out our Beginner to Advanced Live 12 Start to Finish course. Make sure to also see the Everything Bundle Collector's Edition, which includes all of the courses, sound packs and project files available in our store. Alright, so let's get started. The first effect for today is going to be actually the Multiband Dynamics. It's really awesome. Yeah, it's very often used as an OTT effect, basically a very aggressive compressor, which also boosts the high frequencies and gives you a very aggressive sound. That's just only one preset actually in Multiband Dynamics, although very useful. We've got also many more features here. One of these features is a sidechain, which actually allows you to process differently different bands. You can, for example, just sidechain the low frequencies and leave the highs unchanged. That's one feature. Something else that's often overlooked is actually the fact that it allows you both downwards and upwards compression and also downwards and upwards expansion. It's possible to achieve a lot of different use cases with just this single effect. In our case, we're going to be going through a really curious case, which is using the Multiband Dynamics for de-essing a vocal. Here is a very simple vocal phrase from one of our sample packs. Let's just hear it.
You deserve someone else to treat you well.
And it's already processed a bit, so the S's are not that aggressive. But if we wanted to process the S's even more and really aggressively remove them, it's really easy here in Multiband Dynamics. And what you can do is just use this split band de-esser setting. So what we have here are 3 bands. Let's just solo this part. And we have a low band.
You deserve someone else,
which is everything below 3 kHz. And we are not processing this at all. As you can see, it's not doing any processing. And the mid band is doing all of the de-essing here. So this is the mid band. If we disable the processing here, you can see it really responding to the S. And we are actually not using the high band almost at all here. We are just letting the frequencies above 15 kHz just pass through without any compression. So we are using the mid band as a single band de-esser. So we are just doing typical downwards compression. Whenever there's a spike, we are just turning it down quite aggressively with almost a 1:6 ratio. Let's hear this phrase before and after.
You deserve someone else. You deserve someone else.
And you can hear that the S's are much quieter here, almost as if we used a real de-esser plugin, but it's actually very easy to do just with the stock Ableton effect. Alright, so let's just jump onto the next effect. Here we have the Resonators effect. And this one is very curious. It's mostly used for creative sound design, so this is not going to be your bread and butter effect. But it works best when you feed some rhythmic sounds through it, and basically you can play some tones with the built-in 5 resonators here. This is the really weird IDM beat that we are going to be processing. It's very, very noisy, but we can put on resonators and hear what this becomes. If you've got a glitchy sequence, or if you've got a rhythm that you want to add some tonal characteristics to, this is perfect because here you can choose different notes. For instance, let's just play resonator 1. And then resonator 2 is going to be 3 steps above. And then a 5th, an octave, and then 2 octaves. And then we can also tweak all of these individually. This is really useful with a specific Max for Live device, which allows you to input MIDI notes and control these knobs with basically a piano roll or your MIDI keyboard. And this Max for Live device is called BC Reason Control, and I'm going to leave a link to it in the video description so you can grab it. So this would be the Resonators effect. Now let's take a look at another often overlooked effect, and it's the Corpus effect actually. Yeah, so Corpus is a physical modeling effect, and it allows you to transform samples into tuned resonances. You've got 7 types of resonant objects here. The most often used probably would be the marimba, but we've also got beam, string, membrane, plate, pipe, tube, and different modes here as well for each of these. Yeah, this is also a sound design effect, but it can be used for a variety of scenarios. So, for instance, we've got this clap snare. Quite a typical tonal snare. We can just put this on top and it becomes a marimba. We can tune it. And it's really easy to now, for example, resample this and just play it with a sampler. You've already got a nice marimba instrument that was completely synthesized. And yeah, another use case could be the sub kick maker preset. Corpus is also works nicely on kick drums, and it allows you to, for example, add a longer sub or to transform your kick drum and make it a bit tighter sounding. So here's the kick drum without Corpus. So you can see visually even that it's quite short. And then we can add the sub kick maker. And if you're in headphones or you've got a sub set up, you're gonna hear it. But if I flatten the track, you can see that, yeah, we've got a long sub here. And yeah, that's just what Corpus does here. We've also got the kick tight preset, which can give your kick a bit of a different timbre. Yeah, it's also possible to do reverb type effects here and also weird LFO type stuff here with this LFO section. And you've also got this MIDI input section on the left and some filtering as well. So it's possible to do a lot of weird stuff with Corpus, but it can actually be very useful and allow you to create very original sounds. All right, so let's take a look at effect number 4 for today. And this is going to be the Spectral Time effect. Let's play, we've just got a rhythmic sequence here. And let's turn it on. We've got 2 sections, the freezer section and the delay section. The delay section is going to just add smeared delays with various different settings. And this can be creatively used. We're going to do this on a drum loop in a second. But for this one, we are going to be using the freezer actually. So here's what this sounds like. So we can actually freeze a portion of the sound and make like a pad out of it. And if you'd like to create just some sort of static texture from any sequence, you can do that with the freezer section here in Spectral Time. Just to give you an example of the delay section, here's a 606 drum loop. And we can add some really weird pitched delays with the delay section of Spectral Time, and it's the pitch trails preset here. So you can hear it's giving it this really weird vibe, but yeah, for curious sound design and processing of different loops, this can give you really interesting results. It's great for pads, it's great for lo-fi glitchy sounds and all sorts of different use cases. And let's take a look at the last effect for today. It's going to be the shifter effect. And this one is quite simple. It's very similar to the frequency shifter effect in earlier versions of Ableton, but it's got a few more features and it's a bit more useful in my opinion. One thing you can do here is just pitching the sound up and down using this coarse pitch knob. We can just try this out quickly with this steel pedal guitar loop. Let's hear it dry. And if we just want to go 3 semitones down, it's really easy here, just going 3 semitones down here with the chorus knob. One thing that's important to take a look at when you're transposing sounds with the shifter is this window control. Tweaking this one can give you different qualities depending on the actual sample you're using. So make sure to experiment with this window control to get the right sound. Another use case for this one is we can use the frequency mode instead of the pitch mode. We can use this hi-hat pattern and thin it out. I'm going to just increase the chorus pitch. And now it might not be as aggressive and fit better into a techno track without overpowering the mix. And yeah, these are just some of the techniques here. We've got a lot more features here. For example, the LFO section, which can really create interesting results. Also, what we have is ring modulation. This is also very useful for sound design, common in like industrial tracks, but I can imagine it being used in many different scenarios. It just needs a lot of experimentation to get useful results out of all these advanced features in Shifter. It's also got an built-in envelope follower, so all of these advanced features I really encourage you guys to explore. Alright, I hope you will find this video on underrated Ableton effects useful. Make sure to check out our Music Production Academy with lots of start-to-finish courses on making tracks in various genres. And if you'd like to learn Live 12 with all the foundations of music production, make sure to see the Beginner to Advanced Live 12 Start-to-Finish course. Also check out the Everything Bundle Collector's Edition, which includes all courses, sound packs and project files in our store. All of the links you will find in the video description. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. If you enjoyed this video, leave us a like, write a comment, and I will see you in the next ones.